Hey guys, welcome to the Carry On Gaming Podcast. My name is Grady. You can find me on Twitter at @AFriendlyPest. My other hosts are...
I'm Stefan, and I'm the Brit of the podcast. I'm a PC, Xbox, Nintendo, and mobile gamer.
Hello all, my name is Dan, and I am your resident Irishman, but I'm not really, although these people think I am. I play primarily on Xbox, but I also play on PlayStation. You can find me on Twitter at JournoManDan.
I think we've got a pretty diverse cast, and I'm looking forward to kind of a casual, entertaining gaming podcast because there's, I mean, let's face it, there's a lot of podcasts in this market, and I don't know that we're anything special, but we're going to have a good time, and hopefully people that listen do as well. All right, Dan, I think you've got a better lineup of what we're going to talk about in what order, so why don't you kick off the first topic?
Ho, ho, ho is the sound that you hear when Santa delivers presents, and that's what happened last week when our dear Santa Daddy, Phil Spencer, brought the goods.
Oh my.
There were things we expected, and we saw those things, but there are also big surprises, like all across the show for me. So I'll start with one of my biggest surprises, and I went to watch the Square Enix show after the Xbox One on Sunday, because I heard a little rumor about what Eidos Montreal were working on, and I heard that it was going to be a Guardians of the Galaxy game, so of course, it would be very off-brand of me if I didn't watch that. I watched it, and I was really impressed, and I was really giddy. You can ask anyone around here; they had to tell me to shut the hell up. It looks like a game that I want to play. Like a lot, that's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to have a great story. It's going to have a great cast of characters. And unlike the abomination that was their Avengers game last year, it's not going to be an online only grind fest that I would equate to being Destiny with superheroes, which was fun for the first 8 hours when I played the campaign, but everything else in that was absolute crap. I haven't played it since. So I'm really happy that Guardians of the Galaxy has come along to fill that single-player superhero game hole in my heart, because I'm going to have to wait another 3 years now for Insomniac to get off their arse and give me another Spider-Man game. But that was my biggest surprise. How about you, Steph? You've been quiet over there in your corner.
Yeah, for me, I love seeing more Starfield, even though it was expected, but I don't think I was expecting much. I was expecting, Halo, Starfield, so not really surprised. I think the biggest surprise was the Sea of Thieves campaign. I've not played much of it because it is online only, and trying to find time to game online is a massive pain in the arse. So I'm actually looking forward to playing the campaign. The other game I'm looking forward to is Zion. It's a PC game on Steam. You can add it to your wish list. It's a space station strategy simulation where you are the manager of a space station, and it's humanity's last hope, as after all, the Earth is dying. So I'm actually
looking.
That
plot before. Very interesting.
I know, I've never seen it before. That's not out to 2022, so hopefully get more gameplay, get an idea of what it is. And I think the last one was Breath of Wild's sequel for Zelda.
Yes.
That was a big surprise.
Excited about that one.
I wasn't surprised.
I wasn't
by
surprised
that.
at all.
I knew that was. That wasn't a surprise.
It was a surprise to me.
Dan, you mentioned Guardians of the Galaxy. I have to say, that's one of the few trailers I haven't watched yet. But I did hear somebody react and say that they were kind of targeting almost like a Mass Effect feel to that game.
I'm annoyed so much with Square Enix of what they did with Avengers. I cancelled my pre-order after the whole Spider-Man shenanigans, and I'm quite glad I did. And I think with Guardians of the Galaxy, it'd be one of those games where I'll wait about a year and see where it goes.
That's probably wise after Avengers.
Grady, your turn.
I think it was called. I'm going to say two things. One was the Sea of Thieves campaign expansion. I didn't expect that. I was very happy to see that, especially if part of it's going to be PvE. And I know people, it's Sea of Thieves, not Ocean of Friends, and that's part of the experience, and I understand that. But after a while, I just think there could be some rebalancing maybe on how the PvP works, or fighting people off and they don't just respawn and run back at you. And if you want more of a casual night, and the quests are so long now, if you're going to have 2 to 4 hours invested in a run, and then some players can show up and kind of really take away most of the progress you got from that, other than, say, the experience and good time. I like the notion of more private instances, so I support that. Looking forward to that. I haven't had a chance to play it yet, but it's on my agenda for this week. And then other than that was the game that it looked a lot like Inside. It looked a lot like Limbo. I think it was called Somerville. And I know that's on a lot of people's lists. I could have the name wrong because it's all kind of running together at this point. When I saw that, I thought it was Inside. I thought it was Limbo. I thought it was the same developer, and turns out that studio broke, and this is actually from the remnants of that studio. So I'm looking forward to what that is because I've enjoyed those games in the past.
Yeah.
Speaking of surprises, just randomly scrolling through Twitter, and suddenly the Deus Ex Twitter account is suddenly they're posting cryptic tweets.
Oh.
That would be good. You know what? I have never played a Deus Ex game.
How dare you?
I know, right?
And you call yourself a gamer?
I should,
You
though,
should-
because that
you
last
should
one
check out
especially
the,
looked decent. But
Yeah, and they just upgraded
just
it
never
to
have.
60 FPS. It's running at 60 FPS on the Series X now. So
Is it on Game Pass?
no, but you can get it for like £5.
So I guess what was our favourite show? I think we all probably got the same idea.
Yeah,
But what was your favourite show at E3?
Don't everyone answer at once.
I mean, I'm going to be super biased. I'd say Xbox and Bethesda.
I don't think it's biased to say Xbox and Bethesda, considering the caliber of the other shows. It really was the standout. Like there was some good stuff in the other shows as well, but
I think here's a take for you. I think the Xbox Bethesda show was so good that people didn't appreciate that it was put together this last year of hell we went through. Like it was probably the best show they've ever done, coming out of the worst conditions we've ever seen.
yeah.
And I think it's also matured in a certain way. It's kind of the show you would expect from Sony, say in 2014, 2015, somewhere in there. I don't remember 100%. I'm not a historian on this.
Yeah.
But when they would just come out and roll game after game after game, and everybody'd walk away really excited about things, and it was an awesome time. I feel like Microsoft has been experimenting with the timing, bringing people on stage, talking about stuff, how many games to put in a show, when to talk about services, and this show just came out with games the whole time, especially like that in the Thursday following, they had the extended showcase with Paris Lilly talking about some of the games in more detail. I think it was a really mature presentation, and to pull it off coming out of Rona season, I mean, I was really happy with it. I think it's the best show they've ever done.
Well, I think it counters the argument, which we see multiple times online, that the Xbox has no games. And doing a showcase like that just shows that there is a lot of games on the Xbox or coming to Xbox, which basically puts quiet to those speculations. I know when the Series X came out, we didn't get Halo Infinite, which made me sad in the inside. But yeah, but it's shown there's some great content coming out. But I just want Starfield.
Yeah.
Like, that's all I want. And Halo.
I mean, to continue expanding on that, not only was it an amazing show coming off one of the worst years we've had in recent memory, they also did it with 90% of that show being Game Pass release titles, so they didn't have to branch outside of that category, and they did it with what? The majority of their studios didn't even showcase the content they're working on. Like, if you go through the studios that they've got working on games, like, they didn't even tap most of that. So they held back coming off the worst year they've ever had, and 90% of those games were on Game Pass, and it was a great show. So
Yeah.
that was my favorite show. Obviously, I'm biased. I'm a huge Xbox fan. Not to say I don't appreciate other things. I don't think it was even close. I thought Nintendo also put on a really good show, but Xbox Bethesda killed it.
I'm actually surprised you thought that Nintendo was a good show. Like it was all right. Like as far as the Xbox showcase, I was pretty happy. I got my fill. There were so many games there that like I'm really excited for, and there were surprises there as well. Like I didn't see Arcane's new game coming, Redfall. Like, and I love Arcane games. I love Dishonored. I can't wait to play Deathloop. This being like a 4-player co-op shooter, I like as long as it can be, played competently a single player, I'll be happy. But as far as like big
I feel you
snubs,
there, Dan. I was when I saw the Redfall announcement, I thought I don't know, but I found out it's open world, and if it's anything kind of like what was it, Dying Light Dying Light. If it's anything like that on a modern scale with 4-player co-op, that could be really good. You said Arcane's got a pretty good pedigree when it comes to be.
I'll tell you what my favorite trailer of the show was. It's a game we're not seeing for ages, but I love the trailer. It was the Outer Worlds 2 trailer. I just loved how self-aware it was.
It was very entertaining.
I
They
can't
have a
wait
good
for
sense of humor
Outer
over there, and I really liked the Outer Worlds 1. I think I played through that entire game twice.
I haven't finished it, but I did enjoy what I played of it.
Right,
That's
back
a
on
great game.
topic.
Great game. Okay, for our next topic, I thought we'd see what games we expected to be at E3 that were not there. So specifically, something you were looking forward to that didn't make it to the show. And why don't we start with you, Steph?
I wasn't really expecting much from E3. I wanted to go in with the sort of not really looking at rumours, this, that, and the other, and just see what to expect. Because we didn't have E3 last year. I kind of wanted to go in with an open mind of what would be there. And the fact that they showed... I was a bit disappointed with, like, not as much Starfield being shown. Even though it was shown, but it wasn't as much as I would like. Considering it's meant to be one of the big games.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then Halo Infinite as well. I expected like a bit more on that.
I think that's your point. Like, I get it. I get the disappointment about Starfield, but do you remember when Fallout 4 was coming and we got this big 30-minute like showcase from Howard? I think they're going to do that next year, and they just wanted to save that momentum for next E3.
I have no idea what Fallout 4 is. As far as I'm concerned, Fallout ended with New Vegas.
But the cool thing about Fallout 4 is I think it was announced and it came out like that year, right? So that was a pretty quick turnaround.
2 months later.
Yeah, you could tell.
I did not expect to see more of Starfield, but people were hyping it up like it was going to come out this year. So I thought, well, maybe if they've got
people
some
were being
idiots, there's a chance.
People are getting
get excited
everyone
and chomp
hyped.
at every rumor they can see.
Yeah.
Idiots is not nice, Dan. Idiots is not nice.
Don't say idiots.
Well, they were being idiots.
No, I think the problem with like for me, I wanted more Starfield. I didn't expect it out this year. I expected next year, but it would be nice to see some actual physical gameplay if they're at that stage yet. Because at the moment it's like, ooh, pretty trailer. Okay, can I see some gameplay? What's your alpha like?
I don't expect to see too much of an extended gameplay demo.
No, I don't.
For Starfield, for the same reason I don't expect to see too much of an extended Halo campaign video.
The multiplayer looked nice.
Well, it's not. Yeah, but it itself was kind of like a YouTube hype reel, right?
Yeah.
But I think there's certain games that play a lot better than they show, and I think the experience of playing a Halo game is really hard to capture in just a gameplay demo. So I think going with the campaign cut there and introducing the new character and kind of setting the mood, and then the multiplayer, I think it was a pretty smart move. And the response to it has been so positive that evidently that was the right way to go.
Yeah.
I also wasn't upset at the showcase last year, the previous July, when they showed the actual campaigns. Like, to me, it looked great. It looked like Halo's supposed to look.
Yeah.
I was excited about it. I think Starfield, kind of that same game, even though it's Creation Engine 2 or whatever, I don't think a gameplay demo on that is going to be... It's not going to blow anybody's doors off, right? It's not like you're seeing a gameplay cut of The Last of Us 2 or something like that. Really impressive demonstration of what a game can look like and play like. I think the fun for Starfield is going to be what you would expect from a Bethesda game.
Oh yeah, I would just be nice to see something. Like
I don't
2 minutes.
Patience is a virtue.
Oh god, I'm not patient.
It's not,
Dan,
it's not.
you like talking. What about you? What you expecting to see what wasn't there, game wise?
There was one game that I heard might be coming. I was a bit annoyed when it wasn't there, and that was the Marvel like XCOM style strategy game. And I heard that was meant to be coming, and so I went to watch the 2K showcase. It wasn't a showcase at all. It was an hour and a half of them talking about how we're so great. We encourage all of this diversity in our workplace, which is great. But it's E3.
I missed that show.
Yeah, you wouldn't have liked it. You would have been bored. And it's great, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
We
That's fine.
Hear about...
You come to a game show to watch games, but I'll withhold my opinion because I didn't see that one.
Yeah, but so that was that was a bit of a snub, and I was a bit annoyed that I let myself get excited for that. What else was there? I mean, obviously, I would have liked to have seen something. Well, I knew this wasn't going to happen, but I would have liked to have seen anything from Sony. And I thought, the Summer Games Fest might be the way in for that. I know it was Hideo Kojima's Death Stranding, but I played Death Stranding. I've no interest in playing it again. So I was a bit annoyed that their silence is deafening. And it just goes to show, it keeps proving more and more why I don't like Jim Ryan. But we'll save that for another day. There was one big thing that was missing from the Nintendo showcase that I wanted to be there because it dictates whether or not I'll play Nintendo games for the foreseeable future, and that was the Switch Pro. if you've played with the Switch, you know what it's like. It's running at 720p, and the frame rate and a lot of these games just drops tanks to 22 frames per second. I can't play that. It makes me feel sick.
I think like with the Switch, for me personally, I've got a Switch from casual gaming, so I'm not going to play something like Skyrim on my Switch. Like that's what the PC or the Xbox is for. Like I like to play Pokemon or Super Smash Brothers or Zelda, something smaller. I think maybe the Pro wasn't ready to be shown at E3. I think that would be a Nintendo's own show.
I'm surprised it wasn't shown. Maybe it wasn't shown because the Switch is still outselling everything else on the market, and Nintendo has never been a source to go to for quality, like third-party game performance. When you're wondering about new hardware on the horizon, and you hate to spend money, and then bang, it's announced.
My brother has a Switch, and I play it sometimes, but don't like the setup of it currently. Like I want that jump in quality. It doesn't have to be like 4K. Like if the games were to run at 1080p, at a solid 60 frames per second, I'd be very happy. But I want to play games like Zelda, and I love the Mario games. I absolutely love Odyssey, but I can't get into it because of the limitations of that hardware. But
I'll agree that Nintendo has put out some of the worst controllers, ergonomics.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Console snobs. The lot of you.
I have very poor wrist movement, especially in my right wrist. And,
that's what she said.
Yeah. Anyway, and I really struggled. I really struggled with the Switch. Just the ergonomics didn't feel good. I constantly have to readjust my hand to be able to reach the buttons I need. Playing it as portable was almost impossible for me. I definitely had to leave it docked. And then with a Pro controller, it wasn't a terrible experience.
I find the Pro controller too shallow compared to the Xbox controller.
It's not a patch on a modern Xbox controller, that's for sure. I think you could compare it to the 360 controller and come out okay. It's not a bad gamepad, but
I think the thing, if the Switch Pro gets released, the only way it would persuade me buying it is not the graphics, not the tech specs. It would be the battery life, because trying to play Zelda on the portable only lasted about an hour.
Wow, I thought they were better than that, but
no.
You heard it here, Nintendo. All you gotta do is put a better battery on this thing.
And I'm sold. Like, better battery sold.
It's time for an upgrade on the Switch, but a lot of people love that system. They like it's kind of the difference between console and PC. I've had really good PCs, but I've always kind of preferred playing on console. Something about the experience. And you can hook a PC to a monitor and run a gamepad off it. So it doesn't make the most sense in the world, but there's something about the experience. And a lot of people feel that way about the Nintendo Switch and love that system, and I'm happy for them. But it really wasn't for me, and I did end up selling mine. I was hoping to see what Compulsion Games is working on, because I didn't really care for We Happy Few, but I liked what they were trying to do, and I'm really interested to see what that team does next. And I really wanted to see Everwild, but my understanding is that's been rebooted and it's now a long ways out. So I would say those are what I wanted to see that didn't see. Overall, I thought it was a great show, even without all that stuff, as I said earlier. But
so let's talk about games. There was quite a lot shown at E3, so what would you say were the top games you have seen at the show?
Gang Beasts just announced to Game Pass.
Gang Beasts with furries.
Early July. That'll be a good time.
That'll be like fun casual, and you'll see the competitiveness out of your friends, and then you'll have fallouts.
Shout out to the community game night on Twitter, Mr. Tushy and Animated Evil. Yeah, they get together every week, two nights a week, and host a variety of games. A lot of them out of Game Pass. A really good time, and I think those games are going to go well there.
Speaking of indie games, one that I can't wait for is 12 Minutes. It appeals to me because I'm a film snob anyway, but it has like these big names. It's got Willem Dafoe, it's got James McAvoy, Daisy Ridley. And it's all about this guy trapped in the time loop and like having to make different decisions on the fly.
Oh, a bit like
to get him out of the time loop.
Quantum, whatever its face was.
Quantum Break.
Yeah.
What were those names, Dan? Did you say they were in film? Were they directors?
Yeah, Daisy played was it Rey in Star Wars?
So let's do some of that. 12 minutes, I think, looks like super intense. So I'm interested.
I'm
I'll
in-
probably
I'm all-
play it.
I'm all
But
for it.
man, that looks like super emotionally intense. I don't know if I'm like really ready for it, but I'll probably try it. I'm serious.
I'll
I've
tell you
I
what
got
looks-
anxiety
yeah.
about that game.
I think apart from Halo, Starfield, probably Zion. There's a game called, if I excuse my pronunciation, Soltis. It's a hack and slash fighting fantasy RPG. I couldn't find that much about it, but that is out in 2022 as well, I believe. That is PC only, and you can add it to your wish list on Steam. There's another game called War Tales. It's an open world RPG where you lead a group of mercenaries in search for the wealth across a massive medieval universe. Looking at some gameplay, it reminds me slightly like Age of Empires. So I'll be intrigued to see how that plays out. So I think those are two games we haven't really spoken about, which is on PC. There's some indie games, but I'm not too into them. I'm not too much of a casual player like that. So yeah, I think those are two to add to my list.
I tell you what did look fantastic. Stalker 2.
Yes, that looks fun. I don't know if I'm ready to play it. It might creep the shit out of me like Dead Space.
It gives me massive Metro vibes, and I love the Metro games. They're some of my
Yeah,
favorite games.
it does remind
And
me
yeah,
a lot of Metro.
yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
like those Stalker games. I've never played one, but I've heard they're really hardcore.
I don't do well with horror games. Stalker 2 might be an exception. It looks good. It has that Metro feel. It looked interesting. So it's definitely one to give a go. I just don't know if I think I need to prepare myself. Maybe have like one of you two play it first and then tell me how bad it is scare wise.
What I saw that I like most, the obvious highlights that everybody else is going to say, but in truth, I am one of the biggest, if not the biggest, Halo fan I know. I've read all the books, I've watched all the content. The only content I've not been able to force myself to entirely consume would be the comics, and that's because I'm such a graphic novel hater. Anyway, huge Halo fan, so obviously Halo Infinite's probably my most anticipated game in a long time. I'm really excited to see what they do and hopefully use it as a platform for future expansions and story and content. I think the multiplayer looks great too, so stoked for that.
There's a lot of potential for future story DLC.
But kind of achieve what the Spartan Ops for Halo 4 didn't really achieve. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not that those were terrible, but they were pretty generic, and then some decent cutscenes and stuff. But I think Forza Horizon 5, I think it's another example like Flight Simulator, where you've got a game that other studios can't really achieve what it's going to do, what it's setting out to do. Like Flight Simulator, tying all the technologies together to make this thing happen. I don't think it's that other companies aren't capable of it, but they're not going to invest what it would take to get there. You see what I mean? I think Forza Horizon 5 is going to be like a defining game. I'm really excited to see what it can do with the social features. I like the being able to customize your game with like the bowling pins and flying through the air and stuff, just to kind of make it silly and fun and not just driving around and exploring. I think it's going to be one of the best racing games ever. Well, and maybe up to this point, the best racing game ever made, even for people that don't necessarily like racing. So pretty excited for that one, as I enjoyed the fourth one a lot.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of racing games, but I love the Horizon games. Just, being able to get out there into the world, to go on an adventure, to look at, the rain reflecting off your car, to, drive around, to buy houses, to buy new cars, to customize. There's so much there to do and so much to experience outside of the racing, obviously. This game looks fantastic, even if it's also, the fact they've achieved this and it's also coming to the Xbox One. I'm going to be really interested to see how it runs on an Xbox One X. But it looks really impressive, and it just proves time and time again that Playground Games are the best at what they do. And you mentioned Microsoft Flight Simulator. Just quickly, I have to say that's a technical marvel, because that brings together gaming, cloud computing, mapping software.
I played it.
Plain nerd.
I played it on the PC because why not? It crashed my PC. It's very resource heavy.
I'm not even going to try playing it on my PC.
What I'm interested to see is how, because on the PC it's very sophisticated. You control everything on the plane. I ended up getting some help with the AI to take off and land because I can't fly a plane. But I'll be interested to see what they adapt to the Xbox version. If because I know you can use mouse and keyboard, but if they just use controller, how does it adapt to that? Because on the PC one,
I have some experience with that because I've played it a little bit on my PC, which I had to turn down the settings quite a bit to make that doable.
Yeah.
And I used a gamepad, and I thought it was, a really acceptable experience. Like I felt like I could do everything I wanted to do in the area I flew over. Like I flew over my home city and stuff like that. It's not one of the areas that's received the extra attention to detail. Like they go to different areas and really work them out and make them what you see in the trailers. And if you fly over a generic spot that's in the middle of nowhere that nobody's really looked at, it's not nearly as impressive what the formula the algorithm's able to generate based on map data. So I'm looking forward to that, especially because I think they've done a better job kind of curating where you should go and what you should look at. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I just ordered an LG C1 OLED for my Series X out in the man cave, and I'm really looking forward to what Flight Sim's going to look like on that.
I'm just looking forward to flying over North Korea, which I failed to do.
That?
I tried.
Yes, in the simulation they shoot you down. It's just the way it is.
No, that's what. Because my PC can run it. It just takes a long time to start up. But I'm looking forward to actually playing that on the Xbox.
Yeah. Would you go as far as getting one of these flight sticks?
Oh God, no! My dog would eat it.
Oh Lord!
Don't get anything expensive when you have a puppy.
I don't imagine I'd be that motivated. I think
if you're a massive flight simulator fan, then yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If it was one of the only things I played, then I would definitely want that accessory. But because I play such a variety of things, and I plan on dedicating a lot of time to the, I think, pretty outstanding release lineup to Game Pass this year, I definitely wouldn't have time to really dig into Flight Simulator. I look forward to playing it, but I'll be happy with the gamepad experience.
Yeah. Dan, what are you looking forward to?
Looking forward to. Let me have a look at my. Definitely not looking at notes. There was one game, we don't know a lot about it, but the trailer really sold me, really got me hyped up, and that's Avalanche's new game, Contraband. I love the idea of the setting. So it's going to be like this Southeast Asian island where you're involved in smuggling and pulling heists and smuggling contraband. It sounds like a lot of fun.
Heist game, yeah.
Yeah. And it had a Steely Dan song in the trailer, so that had me sold.
Not gonna lie, that's one of them. When the trailer itself played, I wasn't sure what to think about it, and I would like to know more when it's going to come out. But everybody's excitement around that, and then I got thinking about some kind of heist-based open-world game that could be pretty awesome. I'm excited about it too, but it is a long way out.
It's probably 2023, 2024, but that's one thing. Obviously, I mentioned Stalker 2. Halo Infinite looks fantastic. I can't wait. It looks so I was excited for it last year as well. Even if I did see there was some issues with the graphics, but I know it's not the biggest thing with a Halo game. But I'm just really impressed with what they were able to pull off with the extra year they were given, and the fact that Joseph Staten came on as well, and took over running the ship. I think it's going to be a great game. I think we're going to have a lot of fun this Christmas with that. Just give us the damn release date, though. Come on.
There's a lot of little stuff in what they showed that meant a lot to me. I feel like they finally really got the essence of Master Chief and the soul of that character and what he means for the franchise. And it's he carries the soul of Halo. And the little things in that trailer, like when he moves the Marine's body with reverence, you know what I mean, and respect. It's little stuff like that. The way the Master Chief always knows what to say or what to do when everybody else is kind of losing their mind and shit's hitting the fan. My favorite character, my favorite franchise, really thought the trailer was well executed. I thought there was a lot of soul hidden in that. But I could fanboy on that all day.
Yeah. Far Cry. I forgot to mention that. That looked fun.
I've seen too much of Far Cry. I was really excited for it. Stop showing it now. We've seen enough. I will play it in October. Yeah.
It looks great. Yep, we're sold. Don't need to see it anymore. What about Back 4 Blood?
Yeah, that's like Left 4 Dead 3 by different.
It's the same team. No, it's the same team. But, it's all right.
I want to make a
same
point
but different.
I want to make a point for it because I really enjoyed Left 4 Dead games back in the day, and it seemed like we had a barrage of kind of Left 4 Dead-esque games. There's a Rainbow Six one. Well, I mean, even at this show, there was I thought there was
Oh,
quite
yeah,
a
I
few
think-
games that were kind of trying to capture that fun. But I'm pretty sure Back for Blood's the only one going to Game Pass.
Yeah.
And the team has pedigree, so it'll be the one that gets my attention. Hopefully, I really enjoy it.
I'll check it out because it's on Game Pass, and I probably wouldn't have bought it if it wasn't. But I'm glad it is because I'll get to give it a go and see what it's like.
I love Left 4 Dead, so I'm looking forward to it. Back for Blood.
There's also
Yeah, like-
there's Dying Light 2 coming later this year as well.
Dying Light
Like,
1 was so good.
That was a great game.
I still haven't played it, but I've heard a lot of good
What?
things.
You're missing out.
I've never been like the biggest zombie game fan, other than The
Oh, it's
Last
good,
of Us,
though.
obviously.
Oh, it's
He's
good.
good.
Co-op.
These are not your stereotypical zombies. These are like really scary zombies.
I mean,
It
I
was super
played.
fun.
I played.
Wait, it's like
Resident
Assassin's
Evil.
Creed with zombies,
But first
Okay,
person,
now you've
and
got
the
my
controls are
attention.
weird.
but
Now
first
you've got my
person.
attention.
It's a great game. Yeah, great game.
Just imagine
I really
Assassin's
enjoyed
Creed
that.
with zombies and then sorted.
I have played Dead
It'd be a good
Island,
time.
and I didn't think much of that.
What would you say is the game you're looking forward to the most?
Go ahead, Dan.
Go on, Dan.
Thank you very much.
One
Probably
only game, no
not-
explanation, just the game name.
Guardians of the Galaxy. I say as I sit here in my Marvel pajamas.
Grady.
Halo Infinite.
And with me, it's Starfield.
Really?
I'm a massive Bethesda fan.
He's the Bethesda fanboy. You
I
have to
got
expect
the-
No, I
that.
don't blame you. I don't blame you. It's very exciting. It's
I
just
got a
far enough out.
Skyrim tattoo. so I think this year Halo, next year Starfield.
Yeah, I was going to say it's further out. I tend to 18 months or less on my announcements. I don't really want to know about them further out than that because I get tired of
Yeah.
thinking about them before they come out.
You've been saying that since 2016, and they're still
Oh,
doing it.
Yeah, I'm consistent at least on this one. Not to say that I don't get excited about stuff that's Outer Worlds tools. Sure, I'm great. I'm glad they're making it, but I'm all right with knowing about stuff when it's closer to release, which is why first off, Halo would probably be my favorite no matter what. But it's also coming out this year, hopefully.
All right, so that is our first podcast of Carry On Gaming, where we talked about E3. I hope you've enjoyed it. We'll try releasing podcasts every week. Try is the key word here.
Yeah,
So,
try.
I thank you all
Oh,
for
it's gonna
listening.
happen.
Yeah, all right, there's a gun to my head. So it's going to happen weekly. So yeah, let us know what you think in the comments. What were you looking forward to at E3? What didn't you see? What you wanted to see? If it's not Mass Effect is not your comment, do not post it. Please give us feedback, how we can improve, and thank you again for listening.
There should be plenty of feedback on how we can improve.
Yeah.